Hashtag Trending would like to thank Meter for their support in bringing you this podcast. Meter delivers a complete networking stack, wired, wireless, and cellular in one integrated solution that's built for performance and scale. You can find them at meter.com/HTT. AWS hikes premium GPU reservations by about 15%. Microsoft is renaming Office. That happy crying Venezuelans clip is fake. And Whitey-Leaks. A hacktivist wipes 3 white supremacist sites live on stage. Welcome to Hashtag Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. Over the weekend, AWS raised prices on EC2 capacity blocks for machine learning, or ML, the product you use when you want to reserve scarce GPU machines for a specific window in the future, and when you want that capacity guaranteed. The register pegs the increase at roughly 15% for some H200-based instances. In most regions, the hourly rate is moving from the mid-30s to about $40, and in Northern California, it's jumping from the low 40s to just under 50. AWS's own pricing page says these reservation rates are updated based on supply and demand trends, and AWS told the register that the change reflects what it expects this quarter. Now, first point, this doesn't happen in a vacuum. Reuters is reporting that the AI boom is stoking chip shortages and pushing memory chip prices up. And the Financial Times has warned that those shortages could translate into higher consumer electronic prices in 2026. We've already seen some of that. But in plain terms, when AI infrastructure soaks up more of the supply chain, everyone who builds hardware is going to feel it. But the second point is what I'm calling the cloud dilemma. If you're talking about scarcity plus lock-in, the GPU shortage is real, but so is the data center constraint behind it, especially because of the lack of power. Reuters has described data centers driving demand hard enough that grid operators are even keeping older peak power plants running longer than planned. Now, if compute is tight and you're already committed to one provider's stack, price moves like this can land right in the middle of a project plan. So the practical takeaway for anyone planning big AI projects is pretty simple. Treat GPU capacity and cloud AI pricing as variable, not fixed. In Canada, a study found that one major issue is that companies fear they could get locked into a provider and face steep cost increases when they try to scale. The answer is we need to plan for it up front, the same way you plan for interest rates or fuel costs or any large unpredictable cost variance. If you felt that Microsoft Office has just been renamed, you're probably not imagining things. But the important detail is what exactly got renamed. As near as I can figure out, what's actually changing is the Hub app and the front door, for want of a better word. Microsoft's own support page says Microsoft 365 Office app is now called the Microsoft 365 Copilot app across the web, mobile, and Windows. Microsoft says the new name and a new icon reflect Copilot being integrated into that app. Okay, but here's where it gets messy. Office.com now apparently greets you with "Welcome to the Microsoft 365 Copilot app," and even labels it as formerly Office, which makes it sound like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint themselves might have been renamed. Not true. The Verge notes that's not what happened. The Office suite is still branded as Microsoft 365, and you can still buy a standalone Office 2024 without the subscription. But I'll end with this. I've been asked by one listener to stop picking on Microsoft, and I really hope I'm not perceived as doing that. But Office is one of the most well-known brands in the world. Regardless of what you think of Microsoft, there's no other Office-type software that you think of when you hear that word. You see, Word is even a brand. And brands are things that build a relationship with your customer over a long term. You change them when you need to, when it's effective, or when you have to. So I can't help but wonder if anyone in the higher echelons of the Microsoft marketing department has ever read the case study on New Coke. I almost didn't run with this next story because it's adjacent to a political story, and if you're like me, you're getting burned out on politics. But the real issue here isn't what happened in Venezuela. It's what AI is doing to the way we're experiencing news. After the U.S. military operation that captured the Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro on January 3rd, a minute-long video started spreading on X, claiming to show Venezuelans crying with relief and thanking the United States and Donald Trump. It pulled in more than 5 million views. But fact-checkers are saying the clip is AI-generated. AFP traced it to an account called Wall Street Apes and noted it was reshared by Elon Musk. PolitiFact also flagged the video as synthetic, pointing to the kind of visual inconsistencies you see when a model tries to fake crowds, flags, or faces. Now, this calls to mind a story that I read on the weekend. The Associated Press reports that Finland teaches media literacy starting in public school, partly because it lives next door to Russia and has dealt with propaganda pressure for decades along its 1,300-kilometer border. But now, Finnish teachers are being asked to add AI literacy too, because the next wave of misinformation won't be a forged document. It'll be a convincing video that tries to make you feel something before you've checked anything. The takeaway for businesses, though, is that the same fake emotion format could get pointed at companies. A fake CEO clip, a fake "we've been breached" statement, a fake incident at a plant, a fake kidnapping. In a world where you can no longer count on what you see and hear, the advantage is going to go to people who have built media literacy, who do what those kids in Finland have probably been taught to do. Slow down, verify through multiple credible sources, and decide in advance which channels count as official. And I'm ending with a story that just knocked me out. A hacktivist who goes by the name Martha Root and who dresses like a pink Power Ranger wiped 3 white supremacist websites live on stage at the Chaos Communication Congress in Hamburg. The sites were called White Date, White Child, and White Deal. Sense a theme? And TechCrunch says they still haven't returned online as of the time of publication. Now, Root didn't just knock them offline. She also published data she said was scraped from White Date, which TechCrunch described as a Tinder for Nazis. But Root didn't only wipe the site and publish the data. She gave them a burn. She said the site had poor cybersecurity hygiene that would make even your grandma's AOL account blush. And then went on to say that the user's images included precise geolocation metadata that practically hands out home addresses with a side of awkward selfies. The leaked data includes user profiles with names, pictures, descriptions, age and location data, but it also includes those precise coordinates and user-set country and state, plus fields like gender, language, race, and other personal information that users uploaded. Root wrote that for now, the dataset does not include emails, passwords, or private conversations. Emphasize the "for now." But Root didn't stop there. She added that the demographic split was a punchline of its own. Of the more than 6,500 users, 86% were men and 14% were women, which Root called a gender ratio that makes the Smurf village look like a feminist utopia. Root responsibly turned the files over to DDoS Secrets, who say they've received files and user information from the 3 sites, labeled the collection as White-Leaks, I'm calling it Whitey-Leaks, and lists it as a 100-gigabyte dataset. It is not publicly posted in full, And DDoS Secret says access will be restricted to verified journalists and researchers. So if you're looking for Mr. Far Right, you're not going to get root access to this one either. And that's our show. Once again, we'd like to thank Meter for their support in bringing you this podcast. Meter delivers full-stack network infrastructure, wired, wireless, and cellular to leading enterprises. Working with their partners, Meter designs, deploys, and manages everything to get performant, reliable, and secure connectivity in a space. They design the hardware, the firmware, build the software, manage deployments, and run support. It's a single integrated solution that scales from branch offices to warehouses to large campuses and all the way to data centers. Book a demo at meter.com/HTT. That's meter.com/HTT. And if you like what we're doing, please share the show with others or give us a like or comment on your favorite podcast app or site. It works. You can find us everywhere, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and more. And we love to hear from you. You can reach me at technewsday.ca or .com. Just go to the Contact Us page. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment under the video. Or hunt me down on LinkedIn. A lot of you do, and I love talking to you. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a wonderful Wednesday.